If you want to change your habits, this video is for you. But why create new habits? Or what's the reason to change existing habits? The quality of our habits directly influences the quality of our lives. Aristotle said that we are what we repeatedly do. And Gandhi even said that your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. So it's very important to create new habits. My name is Seiichi Arata, I'm founder of Arata Academy, and in this video we're going to see the main ideas of Charles Duhigg's book, The Power of Habit. Pick up a notebook and a pen to write things down, starting with this question: how to create a new habit? First, we need to understand how the habit is formed. To make it easier to memorize, we will use the name triangular habit, because the habit is formed by 3 elements. And this is worth writing down in your notebook. The first component is the trigger. It is a stimulus that makes the brain understand that it can go to some automatic mode and choose the more fitting habit. The second one is routine, the sequence of activities that can be either physical, intellectual, or emotional. Third, it's reward, which will help you improve the brain, showing if that particular triangular sequence can be used again in the future. And besides these 3 components, if we want to create a new habit, we need some expectation. I have to wish for the reward to the point that I will perform the routine each time the trigger shows up. For example, imagine that I wanted to create the habit of performing a small stretching session each morning with some 5 minutes to breathe deeply, keep my mind empty, improve my focus, and do some quick stretch. It's a positive habit, no doubt about it. But how do I create this habit? First, I look at the kind of reward that I really desire. It can be, for example, my morning coffee, or even brushing my teeth. For most people, these are examples of things they can't do without. So, since I really want to have my morning coffee, or there's no way I'll have my coffee without brushing my teeth first, I establish these actions as rewards after I perform my stretching routine. And how do I use the trigger? I can use, for example, a little mat that I leave next to my bed. There is no way out of it. When I wake up, the mat is there, it reminds me of my stretching routine, and everything is already set. This is an example of a visual trigger combined with the temporal trigger. There are different types of triggers that I'll share with you in more detail soon, but first, I just wanted to make this concept more clear. A triangular habit is composed of a trigger, a routine, and a reward, as long as there is some expectation. The second important concept for today's video is habit reversion therapy. If I have a habit that is not good for me, instead of trying to make that habit magically disappear, it is better to modify the habit. Basically, I will keep the trigger and the reward, but I will change the routine. Do you remember the concept of the triangular habit? There is a trigger that leads me to a routine to achieve a certain result. To change habits, I have to ask myself, which results do I want? For example, if I'm having a snack in the afternoon, am I doing that because I'm hungry, or do I just want to distract myself and escape boredom? If the trigger is being bored and the result I wish for is to lighten up, well, I can walk for a while, I can talk to a colleague, and that doesn't add calories to my diet and gives me the result that I want. If I want to stop smoking, I also need to understand what I want as a result. Some people smoke to hang out with some other smokers. Aren't there other routines that I can implement which will also bring me a similar result? One common example is to chew gum to stop smoking, right? But wait, that is not enough. Just switching routines is not enough. There will be some stressful moments with a very big pressure that will make us return to our old habit. And to avoid that from happening, we need a strong belief that we can overcome that desire. Belief? That's right, belief. And that's why organizations like the AA use spiritual concepts and mention God in their procedures, because the spirituality is something through we can strengthen the belief in a higher power that can help us when we need. This element of belief is very important. It is the stepping stone for the rest. Because if I don't have a belief, I won't even search for ways to change. So I will repeat Gandhi's quote because it is very fitting. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. Look at how the belief is the starting point. Notice that you don't need to believe in a specific religion, but you need to believe that things can improve. Without improving, I won't even give any thoughts to an issue. I won't inform myself. And without information, I can't complement anything, and therefore I won't reap any results. Everything starts with belief, and that's why it is important for you to see that it is possible by understanding the story of other people that managed to achieve results, because that will strengthen your belief that it is possible. If I want to stop smoking, besides finding a different routine that substitutes cigarettes, I also need a support group, a group of other smokers trying to quit, or other ex-smokers that have already done it. A community of sports lovers, a church group, a social group that helps me to strengthen my belief that I can stay away from nicotine. And get help through that group when you're struggling with keeping the desired routine. If I want to lose weight, I have to study my habits and understand the reason for me to eat candy at the wrong moments, why I eat more than I need to, why I choose the wrong foods. Logically, I have to have a basic understanding of nutrition and have a healthy, active life, but on the habit side, it is also important to have mates that can walk or chat with us or do any other activity that is not eating bad stuff that only makes us fatter. If this group has a common goal of losing weight, better yet. This first part of Arata Academy's video was a quick summary for the general public that is curious about understanding our habits, and if you want to keep watching, now we will go into more details on how you can use a methodology that is applicable to your life. And the main tip I give you is this one. Write it down. General principle of changing habits. The general principle of changing habits has this structure. 1. Identify the habits of the triangular habit. 2. Experiment with rewards. 3. Isolate the trigger. And 4. Have a plan. Let's examine each one of these 4 steps. 1. Identify the details. The first thing to do is to remember the structure of the triangular habits, in which we have the trigger, the routine, and the reward. Understanding this is very important. Self-knowledge is essential because I need to understand what's happening in order to bring about any change. At Arata Academy's courses, we have a series of activities with that purpose in mind. To access, you can visit our website arataacademy.com and register your email so I can send you the details. And here is an example of what needs to be identified. Charles Duhigg has the example that in the afternoon he craved for some chocolate cookies. And he got up, went to the canteen, talked to friends who were nearby, he ate the cookies, and then he regretted and later felt fatter and fatter. This was a habit that he wanted to change, but he was struggling with it. In this case, he had to understand the trigger. Was it hunger, boredom, low blood sugar levels, or a need to do something else? And the reward is equally important. Was it the chocolate cookie, the change of environment, the distraction, the interaction with colleagues, the sugar rush? To really understand, we need to do as a true scientist. We have to experiment. Write it down. Experiment. We also say that rewards are important for satisfying desires, but what do we really desire? The rational mind has trouble finding a precise answer because desire is emotional. The best way to discover the reward you desire is through experiments. We will try out different rewards. If a person goes to the canteen and eats a chocolate cookie, it is possible to experiment with different routines that hand out different rewards. Instead of going to the canteen, I can go to the street. I can walk around the block, and I can go back to my desk without eating anything. And this is an experiment, and we have to pay attention to how we feel. So the other day, we can go to the canteen, but instead of buying the cookie, we buy an apple, and we eat it right there. And another day we buy the apple, but we go back to our desk and we eat it there instead of at the canteen. And another day we drink coffee. And another day, instead of going to the canteen, we can go to some colleague's desk, we can chat for a while, then we go back. Do you understand that? That's experimenting with different types of rewards and paying attention. Performing various experiments, we can understand better what is that we desire. Is it the pause, the walk, something sweet, interacting with other people? And what is this paying attention? The Power of Habit has a tip that I think it's really interesting and has to do with writing things down. When we return, we pick up a notebook, we write down the date, the activity we performed, and then we will write 3 feelings or 3 ideas that are on our mind. Imagine that you walked around the block. An example of 3 concepts that we feel when we return would be, for example, 1, I'm relaxed. 2, I saw flowers. And 3, I'm satisfied, I'm not hungry. Do you get it? By writing down 3 concepts after performing the new routine, we have the means to better understand ourselves and to find some patterns. And right after it, we will set up an alarm for 15 minutes later, and then we will ask the question of this moment of truth. Do we still crave that chocolate cookie from the example? Of course, you can change this chocolate cookie to the habit that you want to change. The alarm after 15 minutes is for you to test if you ended up satisfying your desire and if the result was adequate. If you have been following the work we do at Arat Academy, then you have probably noticed that I always tell people to write things down. The quick explanation for that is that our thoughts are chaotic and writing is organized. You will reach much better conclusions if you pick up a pen and just write. As an added benefit, you will remember things better and then you can go back to your notes later on. Isolate the trigger. When we talk about a triangular habit that has a trigger, a routine and a reward, it is very neat and simple, but just like I have to perform experiments to find out the true reward that I search for, I also need to have some extra effort to understand what the trigger is. And generally, there are 5 kinds of trigger that start the habits routine. 1, location. 2, time. 3, emotional state. 4, other people. And 5, previous actions. So what's the task that we need to write down? Every time the routine is coming, which in our example is that desire, that irresistible desire to go to the canteen and buy the chocolate cookie, we will stop to think and write down. 1, location. Where am I? 2, time. What time is it? 3, what emotional state am I feeling now? 4, who else is at my side? And 5, which action did I just perform? And what will happen after some 10 days filling this notebook with the answers to these 5 questions? We will find the common patterns which activate my routine behavior. We'll find the triggers. And that will help me on step 4. Have a plan. Only after fully understanding our triangular habit, then we can start to change our behavior. We will prepare ourselves so that we can know what to do when the trigger comes, and then we can choose a better behavior, a better routine that will bring us closer to the rewards and to the results that we desire. And this here is the moment of strategy. If I follow the steps 1, 2, and 3 that we just discussed here, then I know exactly how my triangular habit is like. In this case, that is at 3 o'clock, I have this routine of going to the canteen and buy that chocolate cookie and talk to my friends. That indicates that my objective is not really the cookie, but rather to socialize. So my new plan here will be that at 3 o'clock, I'll go to the desk of a colleague and then I'll chat for 5 minutes. And there you go, I set up an alarm. Well, that doesn't mean that it will be super easy to change habits right away, but it will help a lot. And by believing that it is possible and by having a great desire to change, things will slowly get to the point in which we will do the new routine automatically. And this is the structure with the general principles. And I have some good news for you who just watched this video until the end. I know we talked a lot because after all, The Power of Habit is a book over 400 pages. Here I just brought to you the most practical and important concepts, so I think it's very important for you to also use an exercise spreadsheet from our ebook that we created at Arata Academy. It's a totally free ebook. You can go and download it right now in the following link. I hope this video has been helpful for you. My name is Seiichi Arata of Arata Academy. I'll wait for you in the link here so you can download the ebook that we just created for you. Cheers!